Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to start with our grammar in use lesson, relative clauses, and pronouns. So, first of all, let's discuss what are relative clauses and what are relative pronouns. So, first of all, a relative pronoun, it is one or the word which is used to refer to nouns. So, relative pronouns. And since they are pronouns, they have to refer to nouns. هم بيعودوا على nouns. They are mentioned previously. ذكرناهم سابقا in the sentence or in the paragraph. Whether they are people, places, things, animals, or ideas. So the nouns that relative pronouns refer to, they can refer to people, to places, to things, to animals, ideas, or even for an expression of time. Relative pronouns can be used to join two sentences. So instead of writing two sentences talking about the same person or the same animal or the same object, we can join them in one sentence by using the relative pronoun. So when a relative pronoun enters a sentence, it will be called relative clause. So a relative pronoun makes a relative clause. What are relative clauses? They give extra information. So they are sentences which give us extra information about a noun, and they are formed by joining two sentences. So every relative clause sentence or every relative clause, it is made of two sentences, but they are joined together in order to make one sentence. And relative clauses always include a relative pronoun. So in relative clauses, you will find one of these relative pronouns like who, which, that, when, or where. And there are also whom and why and whose, but we're not going to study them. So let's start with the first relative pronoun, Who. So we use who to relate to people, So this relative pronoun, it relates to people. So when we want to talk about a person, شخص عاقل, we use the relative pronoun who. Like in the first example, the musician who wrote the song is French. Here, the relative pronoun who, it refers to whom? To the musician, الموسيقي. He is a person, شخص عاقل. So they always refer to people which are mentioned previously. So can you see? The musician, it comes before the relative pronoun. This is the man who is a great poet. This is the man who. We're talking about whom? About the man. So we put the relative pronoun who. The second one, which or that. It relates to objects and things. So we use which and that to talk about objects and things. Like, for example, the table, the tree, the pencil. And also, that is more preferable to be used with animals. But it is more preferable, من المفضل إن نستخدم that with whom? With the animals. So if you see, for example, the cat, that, the dog, that. Example, did you see the letter which came today? So the letter, it is not a person. It is not a person. We're not talking about people here. We're talking about the latter. اللي هي something. It is a thing. So since بما أنها هي غير عاقل, we have to use which or that. Which or that. The second one, this is the cake, which Mary made. So we're talking about whom? About Mary or about the cake? Of course about the cake, because we said Naz mentioned previously. أسماء ذكرناها سابقا, but Mary comes after. Sue has a cat that is white and fluffy. Here he's talking about whom? About the cat. So Sue has a cat. This cat is white and fluffy. So instead of saying Sue has a cat, full stop, the cat is white and fluffy, he joined them by the relative pronoun. The third one is when. When refers to time. It relates to time. عشان نحكي عن الوقت. Like the day, the year, the month, the week, the hour, the century, the decade, العقد, القرن, we don't care. The seconds, the minutes, okay? Like the day when the concert takes place is Saturday. Here he's talking about the day. The day, اليوم اللي راح تكون أو تحدث فيه الحفلة, it is Saturday, هو يوم سبت. So since we're talking about time, the day, we have to use when. What about the second example? The year when the war began was the worst. The year when the war began was the worst. العام اللي بدأت فيه الحرب كان الأسوأ. Okay? So because we are talking about here the year, since we're talking about the year, العام, it refers to time, so we have to use when. The year, it is not a thing or object, and it is not a person. لا هو شخص عاقل ولا شخص غير عاقل، لكن هو شيء بدلنا على فترة زمنية. And the last one is where, which relates to places, to talk about places. لنحكي عن الأماكن. Like this is the house where I was born. هذا هو المنزل. أنا ولدت في المنزل نفسه. So, since I relate to the house, I'm talking about the house. We have to use where. It is a place. This hotel is where I stayed last month. This hotel is where I stayed. هذا الفندق هو المكان اللي أقمت فيه الشهر الماضي. So, where here refers to the hotel, So, we have to use where because the hotel is not an object, it is not something that refers to time, and it is not a person also. Let's check some examples together. Let's do some exercises. Fill the spaces with the suitable relative pronoun. Number 1, this is the restaurant. We had a delicious pasta. So we're gonna talk about the restaurant. It means المطعم. Is it a person? No. An object? No. It refers to time? Also no. Does it refer to a place where someone go or went, where someone goes or went? Yes, of course. So this is the restaurant, المكان اللي حصلنا فيه على وجبة باستا لذيذة. So, where we had a delicious pasta. This is the day my little son was born. So في هذا اليوم ولد my little son. So, the day, it refers to what? To person? No. To place? No. To an object? Also no. What about time? The day, اليوم. Yes. When? So this is the day when my little son was born. Number 3, we watched the film had won an award last week. So the film, it is a person. هل الفيلم شخص عاقل? No. Is it something refers to place? هل هو الفيلم مكان? No. Is it time? No. Is it an object? Yes, of course. So we watched the film. Which or that had won an award last week? What about number 4? The book I prefer is called The Beauty and the Beast. So the book, it is an object. It is an object. So which or that? What about number 5? The man lives next door is kind. The man, we're talking about a person, العاقل. So who? In exercise number 2, we're gonna learn how to join sentences using a relative pronoun. Since we said before that if we use a relative pronoun, we can join 2 sentences together. I know a new place. We can eat pancakes there. So, first of all, we have to look for the common noun in both sentences. لازم يكون عندي اسم مشترك، اسم مشترك أو اسم وضمير مشترك بين two sentences. I know a new place. We can eat pancakes there. So here we have the common noun الاسم المشترك. A new place مكان جديد. We can eat pancakes there. Is it we? No, نحن. No. Pancakes. No. Is it there? Yes, it is there. I know a new place. تعرفت على مكان جديد. نستطيع أن نأكل البانكيكس هناك. So, هناك, it means in the new place. في المكان الجديد. What do we have to do? So, first of all, we have to write the sentence. لازم نكتب الجملة الأولى. نبدأ بالجملة الأولى. And when we reach the first common noun, we stop. So بدنا نبدأ بالجملة الأولى بنكتبها. لما نوصل to the first common noun, we stop. بدنا نتوقف. I know a new place. I know a new place. Okay, here I will stop. Since we're talking about a place, what is the relative pronoun that we have to use? الريلاتيف pronoun اللي رح نستخدمه شو هو؟ بما انه احنا عم نحكي عن مكان. It is where. It is where. Yes, excellent. Where? Where? So we start with the second sentence. Where we can eat pancakes. And what do we do with the second one? We omit it. So I know a new place where we can eat pancakes, and there is ignored. Let's move to the second one. My friend is very slim. She rarely eats sweets. The common noun in both sentences, it is my friend, صديقتي. And in the second sentence, it is she. It is she. So, we start with the first sentence. نبدأ بالجملة الأولى. And when we reach the common noun, we stop. So, we wrote my friend. نكتب my friend. We stop at my friend. نتوقف عند my friend. My friend, it is a person, شخص عاقل. So we have to use which relative pronoun? Who. My friend, who. What do? We move to the second sentence. She is the second common noun. So what do we have to do with it? We omit it. الاسم المشترك الثاني بنلغيه. Who rarely eats sweets, and then we come back to the first one to complete it, is very slim. So, my friend who rarely eats sweets is very slim. What about number 3? The dog won the animals race. It belongs to an Irish woman. The common noun in both sentences, it is the dog. And what do you think? Irish woman? No, of course. It. The dog and it. So we start with the first sentence, and where do we stop? وين بنتوقف؟ لما بنوصل للcommon noun الاسم المشترك الأول. And what do we do with the it? We omit it. We omit it. The dog. The dog. Since the dog is an animal, شو حكينا? It is more preferable to use what with animals? To use that. So the dog, that. And we will complete which sentence? The second one. Excellent, the second one. So the dog that belongs to an Irish woman won the animals race. Won the animals race.